I'm going to clean these calipers brackets up a little bit, so I thought I'd do a picture before and after, and I'm also doing this a little bit. This won't come with a hardware kit, but we thought we might as well clean them and put them right. Now there is some what do you call them, springs. Well, there they go on the floor. Take those off because they come in the kit. So let me put this in the blaster and see what happens. So after a couple of minutes in the blaster, I wasn't going to spend all that time, but I got the real thick of the rust off, and especially the important bits around here. You can do it with a wire brush or whatever you want, and that, you know, that little bracket, better than putting them on rusty. So what I'm going to try now, I picked up this Alasco galvanised spray. Don't know what it's like. I've had some really good quality galvanised spray before, but this was only cheap, so I don't know what it's like. Ooh, this looks the business. You don't want much on, just a light coat. And although it says galvanised spray, it's not like shiny galvanised, but it'll put a zinc coating on that stuff. There we go. Now, one lesson I learnt with cold galvanising spray, which is why I've turned it upside down, is to clean the jet out. So we'll leave that to dry. It's drying already, and that's, you must admit, looks 100% better than it did. So, just got to wait for the parts to come now. On this side, the brake drum, the disc, just won't come off. It's the adjuster's seized up solid. I can't get a pry bar. I've tried hammering it from this side. So safety specs on, especially for this side. And what I've done is I've cut a groove all the way around it with a disc cutter, and now we're going to try and get it off with the chisel bar. Like I'm going to have to chisel, get around it. There she goes. There we are. Now we're in. Ah. There. So I cut all the way around it with the grinder because there was no way I could get into that. The adjuster's seized up, as I said, and now that, you see the brakes are stuck on at the back. Let me move the camera so we can see a bit better. Oh, I can't see with those goggles on. So, yeah, the shoes are, well, they're rusted up. I can see the adjuster, but I can't get at it, so I think what I'm going to have to do is just get the pry bar in and see if I can get into those shoes, you know, whilst I'm pulling it, you know, just push it in. I've had to bend it backwards. Yeah, she's going to go now. Yeah, wait a minute, let me put the air chisel on it. I might be able to get it with the air chisel and pull it at the same time. There we go. And that was its problem. The lining had come off and jammed it all in. Also, another problem we have, it's got a big rib on the inside of here. Anyway, that's one way of getting them off. Sort of not recommended, but you can see the problems you have with them. Right. So I'm just going to wait for the hardware kit to come, but that's a little technique you can do. Unfortunately, the drums, some of the drums, some of these sort of brake drums, and if you've seen on Land Rovers, they've got a little tapped hole here to jack off the thing. Well, I couldn't tap them because I'd end up drilling through this bit too, and there's not all that much meat on those to put a thread on, so the grinder was the only option. Right, we'll have to wait now until the parts come. The kit just turned up for the retainers, and guess what's inside? Brand new brake adjusters. No wonder it was expensive. No, so what I like to do when I get a kit like this I'm not familiar with, we'll open the bag up. We'll divide it up. There's quite a bit of stuff there, but I want to show sort of some lithium grease. So we'll divide it up into two sides. You see what I mean? Obviously these springs are colour coded so that they're the same. Two of them. One of them, one of them, one of them, and that's it. Now, so there's quite a few bits and pieces there. What I want to show you is these bits, just here. Let's stand up and change the angle a bit. These are the bits that hold your shoe down. This pin comes from the back, goes through the hole, you turn it half a turn, whoops, not quite like that. You turn it half a turn and that locks it in place. And that's where I was saying you needed this girling tool for, because you just push it in like that, if you see what I mean. And it's really handy, and then you can release it. But unfortunately we can't use that. Now, if we compare the old pieces, it would be interesting to put that through the sandblaster and see how it comes out. With the new piece, you can see how fragile that thing is. That's going to break, and you don't, like I said before, you don't want it dropping into your wheel. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start to assemble. I haven't got my lights on yet, so wait a minute. There we are. I'm going to start to assemble this brake here. Oh, by the way, I have checked the handbrake cable and it's functioning perfectly, so that's not a bad thing. What I'm going to do whilst I assemble this, I got this stuff the other day. It's called honey goo, but it seems like a sticky rust-proofing grease, and I'm going to spray that on the back plate like that, look, all over, and that will help just to keep the corrosion at bay. It's better than nothing, alright? Try anything, but you can't put oil on, if you see what I mean, because your oil will drip down. But this sort of sticks to metal, if you see what I mean. It's almost like that stuff I used to use, which I can't remember what the hell it was now. That stuff that was made from lanolin. That was really good, but it's got so expensive nobody will stock it now. So, I'm going to put this together. I'm going to show you a little tool that I have for putting the springs on. Handy little tool is an old screwdriver, the kink in it, and just a little V in the end like that. So you can sort of hook it round the back of your brake drum, like round the back of here. But it's got a little V in it, and that will hold on to the spring. If you use an ordinary screwdriver, it's going to slip all over the place. But that's just got that nice little edge on it, so you can give them a push and get them in. Now, as I said, without any more waffling, I'm going to put these back on, but I've taken the drum off the other side, but I haven't taken the brakes apart, so I'm going to have a quick look both sides and see how this is all assembled, because like I say, it's so easy to forget, and like Rob said, take a photo, it's always worth it, but like I say, you can always use the other side as a reference. Here goes. If I think of anything interesting, I'll let you know. Just want to show you something before we start to assemble this brake. I'm having a bit of a trouble with some lights because I have a new light, but it damn broke, so we will go with this one. I'm going to zoom in on this here. Now you want to apply some anti-seize on your top pivot, and you see these little raised pads here. That's where the shoe touches. See here, I'll put some on, look. There you go. Around there. There's 6 of them. That'll just add to that little bit of anti-friction. I'm sorry it's such bad lighting. Like I say, I've got a brand new light. The damn thing stopped working. Yeah, that'll just stop the friction where this shoe makes contact. Damn me, I'm not prepared for this today. Tell it's Friday afternoon, can't you? So the shoe here will make contact on the side of here, so just a little bit of anti-seize will help tremendously. Right, so now we're about ready to put this back together. If you start at the bottom and you put your spring in first at the bottom, so you put your adjuster in and put your spring over the top, it's easier then just to lift the shoes in if it is this type of setup. The next thing we're going to do is put the hold down pivots in, and then we're going to fit the springs on the top. It's quite easy really. Getting these springs in here was a nightmare. I had to use a little self-locking pliers to hold the cap, but I also used my window pump wedge to push the shoe back. Oh, what a nightmare. What a stupid idea. I mean, all I had to do was just put a little notch in one of these here and it would have been fine. But anyway, it's all together now. I wish I had some better light. I'm going to have to do something about this light in here because it's terrible. Yeah, it's all back in. Pump wedge out tremendously. No wonder nobody wants to do these. Oh well, we'll see in his bill. But anyway, that's that on. Happy with that. Yeah, that's all working. Just going to do the other side now. So, what I'm going to do now is put the new disc on. The adjuster's backed right off. Clean up the disc with some brake cleaner and assemble it. You obviously should use brake cleaner to take any residual grease off. I'll show you. Before you fit your brake, in the side of the drum here, bit of brake cleaner. Clean it all off, look. Now I'll do both sides, but I'll do the other side when it's on. You know, like this side, I'll do it when it's on. Again, just before we fit this, I'm going to put a little bit of anti-seize on this flange, just to prevent any rust getting in for the poor saw, because you always have to think the mechanic who's going to work on this next. And it could be me, hopefully. What not. Screws. There's little screws here. Again, a wee dab of anti-seize on there. Now I've been banging and playing around on here. Lost the screw down here. These really are a fiddly job. But, well, they've got to be done. They've got to be done, I'm afraid. We'll get that tightened up. That tightened up. And what we're going to do, we're going to make sure, before we put our caliper on, that this dust shield is not hitting. Then we're going to apply the handbrake a couple of times and make sure that the shoes are going to set central. Then we adjust the brake. So I'm going to go now and do the other side. And I think while I've got my brake cleaner out. I think I'll give that a quick squirt over and get all that grease off there. Right, we'll do the other side. I messed around with the other side for nearly an hour to get those springs back on. The little ones in here, so frustrating. On this side, 10 minutes, took the bloody hub off. It's only held on with 4 bolts and it just drops off. Well, you had to sort of tap it around a little bit, but look how easy it is now to put the brakes on. Oh, do you know something? I knew there'd be a trick somehow. I knew there'd be a trick. So this side's going to be an absolute dream to put back on. Yeah. I just couldn't get, because those pins here were very close, I couldn't get them in. Oh, I'll tell you something. I better not tell the owner this, I found this trick. I'll have to charge another hour. And there we are, all back together again. 10 minutes. So next time you do a Kia, take off the hub. It makes it so much easier to assemble that brake. It's absolutely unbelievable. So all I've got to do now is put the hub back on and put the brakes together. But like I say, it is a bit tricky. You don't have much room to put these bits on here. But now I do. So I'm going to put the hub back on and box all this up. Disc's nicely turning now, and I've got the new caliper on, and funnily enough it came already with a support bracket here, so I didn't need to sandblast and paint that anyway, so that was another waste of time. Putting the pads in, quite easy, just don't mix them up. Even though these are stainless steel inserts, I still like to put a little bit of anti-seize on them. When I can split it out. And they go in there like that. And the other one goes in there. Now remember, that little bit there goes on the inside at the bottom, at the other side, if you see what I mean. It doesn't really matter which way it goes in, it'll still make a racket. I think it goes in, yeah it does, it goes on that way at the bottom, I think. I don't know. I can't remember. We'll see. I'll put them all back together again. The funniest thing is I've lost the other pad. It came out of here. Can't see where it went. I'll have a look for it and make sure. I'll just double check that that's the way it came out. Yeah, there's the old pad. Again, not much left of it, but that went on the inside to there, so a little bit of anti-seize on the pad. Drop it into place, grab hold of the caliper, lose the bolt on the floor. Now I like again to put a little bit of anti-seize just on the piston and inside the piston, just to stop that rust getting in, you know, and same on that side there. Somebody's going to love me for this job one day. Always remember to put the bleed screw at the top. That goes on there like that. Again, a little bit of anti-seize on the bolt. Pop the bolt in. New bolts. A little bit of anti-seize. And then we can tighten that up. And then the only thing we've got to do now, which is kind of straightforward, is apart from tightening those up, here we go. Not too tight because they're just little bolts, you know, little fine curved bolts. So the next thing, the last thing on this side, we've got to get that old caliper off. And what size is that? That looks like a 12mm. I'll have to go and get a key. New copper washers on the banjo bolt at the back, and now we can bleed it through. We're going to use gravity. We're going to gravity bleed it through initially. It should be okay. It'll take a little while to fill that cylinder up, So we'll just pause the video a bit. And there she goes, she's just starting to bubble through. You see that? There's no air in that. We're just going to leave it as it is. Well, we're going to tighten it up. And that's all you need to do. Don't need to go crazy. What we're going to do is drop it down a little bit further, drop the card down a little bit, and we're going to put a little rubber cap on there, because that didn't come with it, unfortunately. I'm going to drop it down to the almost to the floor, so I can get the door open. Then I can adjust these the handbrake disc up properly. But that's it. That's all you sort of need to know. Wheel on and check it now. Remember, don't be like Jim and go flaring out my garage door and forgot to pump the brakes, or the pedal stuck on the floor and he couldn't pump them back up again and crashed into my container. Pump up the pedal before you do anything, and get them pads to clinch up, and then you'll be all right. Make sure you've got a good pedal. But I think that's it. It's free rolling again. Like I said, I haven't put the little bung in there. But I sort of hope you picked the bones out of this, because this was very frustrating, this job. I hoped it would have been a better video, but it just shows you how long and frustrating it is. Now it's 5 o'clock and I've been on this since 1:30, 2 o'clock, just to do this, just to get them bits off. Amazing, isn't it? It sucks hours out, doesn't it? Even though you're putting new bits on. Alright, we'll talk to you later. Ta-da.